So, what do you do when you've got a big change coming and you've got no budget, you've got no people, you've got no ability to actually do the work that needs to be done so that your people know what's coming and can start to get excited about it instead of being fearful about it? There's a couple ways you can approach it, right? You can throw resources at it and hope things land. And I can tell you from experience that almost never works. You can ignore it, right? And you don't say anything about it, or the people who are talking about it don't really say anything. They have a lot of words that don't actually give the information that's needed to calm everyone down. Another thing I don't recommend, right? You've got to pick what you want the outcome to be. The other thing you can do is, even without a ton of available hours, even without a ton of money, there are things you can follow. There are practices and, tried and true approaches that will help you make it through changes without alienating your people and without allowing the chaos to bloom. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about different levers that you can pull to ensure that information makes it to the people who need it when they need it. The first thing you can do is you can purchase a package of templates and instructions and information that will give you an outline of what you ought to do, when you might want to consider doing it, maybe even examples that you could almost plug and play so that the people who you're communicating to get the information and you don't have to go about creating a plan. This is something that you could do through AI, although it will still take time, or you can buy it from someone who packages these things and get yourself a full scale communication plan that achieves the goals where you can sort of plug and play, cut and paste, drag and drop, and still reach all the people that you need. There's a second option that is also available where, in the event that you have a team that might be a small communication team, or it might be an HR generalist that sits within HR and isn't necessarily a communication expert, but has enough skill to be the communicator in the group, or even somebody in marketing or customer service who has the ability to communicate to people, where you partner with someone and have that individual on your team do a lot of the work, but they work with someone who has a lot of experience, right? So that person with experience acts as a guide on the side, while your team member actually does the legwork and gets things taken care of. But you've got that sounding board standing next to you, walking next to you, and helping to develop them, because then the next time something like this comes up, they do have the experience. And I will say this is a very common option right now, because a lot of your senior communication experts and senior people have retired, they've moved on, they've taken voluntary separation packages, or they've been let go. Like, that's the reality of where we are right now. I do not recommend going all in on AI for this sort of messaging, because AI will give you a framework and it'll give you a decent framework, but it won't give you the things that you need to think through about how information will reach your team when you say it out loud. For that, you really do need someone who's been there. You really do need someone who's experienced the blowback that happens when you say something incompletely or incorrectly, or without recognizing who your audience is and how they might receive that information. I will say that's one of my superpowers that's made me really good at communication. Is I know how information's going to land, and I know how information's going to land with people who aren't necessarily familiar with the corporate speak and the jargon. I've worked with a lot of people in factory settings, in warehouse settings. When they're out on the farm, they're out doing the work, they're keeping the lights on. These are the people that I love the most. They don't always get the details that corporate understands. It's not their fault. They don't need to get those details, right? But they're not necessarily familiar with some of the jargon and the buzzwords and the things that people in a corporate setting are used to. In part because they're not sitting behind a desk all day, right? They're not reading emails and checking LinkedIn and going online and digging for information. So we've got to present things to them a little bit differently. The third way to do it is to completely outsource it, right? You hire somebody like me to come in and do the communication for you. I come in with a framework. I come in with what I know works. I ask some questions. I can brand things with your logo. I can provide drafts and emails and information almost in their complete form. And then you slap your customer details in there and send it off to the people who need to know. You address the people in your internal communication world. I provide the verbiage. You can tweak things and make it customized to your people, and then you send it off and you don't have to worry about it. So you've got 3 service levels that are available, and each one takes into account what you may or may not have available as far as budget, people, time, resources. And I know I'm not the only one doing this, right? So maybe I can be helpful to you. I'm always available for a call or a chat. Discovery calls with me are always free. And I got to tell you, my discovery calls often result in me giving you some good ideas, even if you're not paying me yet. I love making connections and relationships. If I'm not the right person for you, I've got access to a vast network of communicators who are better at certain things than I am, like PR, and who are just different personalities. So no worries if I'm not the right person. I can probably connect you with someone who is. So I wanted to just make those things clear, share some of the details, and invite you to reach out if I can be helpful. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye.